Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another Patreon video. Thank you so much for supporting me. Today, you can see by the title, we're not staying at home. It's no spoiler chat, even though I love doing those videos for you all. We're actually going to a movie, and a movie, I'm sure you can see the title, but this is definitely a movie you wouldn't have heard of before. This is The Possession. We're gonna get into what's going on in a sec. But my friend Scott, who you guys will know, he is a Patreon, and some of you may know him from the Discord. Scott invited me to go see this movie at the Backlot. So the Backlot is a small, like independent, more, not like cinema, it's more of just a theater where people can rent it out for events and things like that. They host a lot of parties. They host the Oscar party here, there, and yeah, they just show premieres of films and all that kind of stuff. It's where I hosted my Invisible Man screening. So it's just one cinema just by itself. So we're going to go there and we're going to go see The Possession. So The Possession is directed by Chris Sun, who's Australian. It's an Australian film, I should say that. And he did Daddy's Little Girl, Charlie's Farm, and Boar. I really liked Boar. I thought Boar was a good time. It was funny. It was silly. Yeah, so all good there. The film also stars John Jarratt, who he is Wolf Creek itself. And so, you know, sounding promising, everything sounding promising about this film that Scott invited me to. I am in high spirits. I'm excited to go to the cinema. I have not been to the cinema, you know, maybe a week since I saw last night at Soho. But, you know, I didn't get to go see Halloween Kills yet. I missed out on seeing Dune, or Dune, depending on how you say it. I was meant to see that this week for an event screening. And so I'm in high spirits and I'm excited to see what this film is like. But just take a breath. This is the poster. So, the reason I've decided to do this as a Patreon, come along with me, is because I love sharing with all of you my experiences and going to the cinema and taking you along with me, but as well, because this is more of an independent film and because of this poster, I'm a little bit concerned. I'm not concerned for the level of fun that will be had. I'm more concerned of how it is, and I don't want to tear it to shreds if it's some independent film that people probably wouldn't have seen otherwise. I just don't see any need to put it on blast. So today we're going to share this between ourselves and go see the film and see what it is. Who knows? Could be a hidden gem, could have completely changed my mind, and could be going and re-recording it as a main channel video. But something tells me that this film is going to be very interesting, and I'm excited to find out if I'm right. I have not read anything about the film, so let's read up really quickly. There's a really long blurb, like really long blurb on IMDb. It's really long, but I'm just gonna read the first two lines just in case. Jacob Chandler is an ordinary man with an extraordinary gift. The epitome of the accidental exorcist, Jacob and his nephew Liam have forged a career clearing demons from the bodies of their clients. Okay, so it's about an exorcism. I mean, The Possessed, what did you expect? But if you see this blurb, I might put a screenshot here, just all blurred out. It's quite long, so I don't really want to get into the nitty gritty. It has first names, last names, you know, all that kind of stuff. I just wanted to know what it was about, but it looks like it's not giving me that, so we're just going to go in as blind as possible and enjoy this experience. Shout out to Scott for inviting me and, yeah, bringing me along with him. I'm very excited, and I'm excited to get out of the house, to be honest, and I'm so excited to see something that I don't really know anything about and don't have any hype for. So let's go check out The Possessed. Let's see if the movie matches the poster. Let's go. There was literally like nowhere to park. I had to park in the middle of an alley. But there's cars everywhere. There's nowhere to park. I hate when there's nowhere to park. can tell you that the poster definitely matches the film. And sorry about the lighting. I'm sure I'll bump it up in the edit, but it's a little bit dark. Oh my gosh. I think I called it The Possession this whole time. It's called The Possessed, but it's interchangeable, to be honest. That film was a whole lot of nothing, hey? Okay, so the film, I mean, I am tempted, and I probably will go into IMDb and actually rewrite the little blurb, because that blurb, although I didn't read the whole thing, there was no need for it to be an over explanation when you just needed a couple of sentences. And what I'd put is something like, an ordinary man that is gifted with the power of exorcism works with his grandson to defeat evil. Like, it's not that hard, just do something vague like that. So John Jarrett is this accidental exorcist, and it explained, oh my god, I knew it was going to be bad from the get-go, because you know what it started off with? Like, all of this text on the screen. It was like a storybook, like reading this background information. They do it in The Conjuring too, to be honest. And it's just too much information. I'm like, you could put that into, like, work it into the film. Don't make me read a book before I watch the movie if I'm giving you an hour and a half of time. And they had a lot of time to waste. They had a lot of time to kill. So it goes into this story about how it's meant to be based on true events, where there was this man who's in Australia, apparently, and he, I think his friend died, and then from there he got the power to exorcise people, and he realized this when he, like, accidentally, like, went like this, because there's a lot of this motion going on. Did this over the body, and the guy's demon, he was able to pull him out, pull him into himself, and then go outside, take off his shoes, put his feet in the dirt, and, like, they call it clearing yourself and clearing the person. The term clearing is very Scientology to me, so it was very jarring. So the whole film is about how this guy, he does that. That's literally what the film is about. It's about him and his grandson and his like, girlfriend, who is a hot DJ, and they actually say that, you know, work with the uncle to exorcise a demon. That's, like, literally what happens, but they really find long ways of getting to the point. This whole film, it's like, oh wow, there's a sound downstairs. Should we go downstairs? Let's go downstairs. Maybe you should take the light. Okay, where's the light? The light's in the drawer. Okay, let's go downstairs. 10 minutes later, they're going down the stairs. 10 minutes after that, they're in the next room. It was just this over explanation, like when they figured out why a demon was doing something to someone, they explained it, or, like, had a conversation between each other trying to figure it out, and then they went into the next room and then explained it to two more people again. So you're like, I feel like they were really trying to add the minutes on, and that's why I say at the start it didn't make any sense that there was just that writing. Anyway, opposed to all of that, the film was actually quite offensive as well. There is one good thing about the film, so we'll get to that soon. But the whole idea was, I mean, we all have this in horror movies. It's always like your demons are a metaphor for, you know, mental health, or, like, sickness, or, you know, just real traumas. And in this one, they say it plain out. They're like, if this big demon gets out, then there's gonna be like, death and anxiety and depression in the world. So it was literally treating mental illness as a demon that needs to be exorcised. Although it may feel like a monkey on your back, or whatever you want to call it, I don't think people's mental health, or the mental health that people have to live with their whole lives, is that. And then there was a flamboyant character who is actually kind of, like, the best character in the whole thing. I have to give it to them, but they also gave them, like, really stereotypical lines, made them really bitchy, and yeah, it was just over the top. Yeah, I think that they thought they were doing representation, but they was just, like, they talked about, like, their sex swing and stuff, and it just seemed like it was really forcing it. So yeah, there was a lot of that, and then there was, like, every single woman pretty much in all of, like, these stories and different things that had happened were, you know, big boobed, plastic surgery, which is, nothing is wrong with that, but when that's, like, the only representation you have of a woman, that could be seen as something, like, it just didn't make any sense. And they were like, it was just, like, overly sexual. the film has jokes in it, like Boar has. Boar is actually quite a good film. I just don't understand how we went from that to this. Boar is like silly, and it's meant to be. It's kind of like a ripoff of, or not a ripoff. It's like a homage to Razorback, which is a huge was a big cult classic here in Australia in, I want to say, the 70s or the 80s, about a wild boar. So Boar, same director, Chris Sun, it was his film to pay tribute to that, and it was quite silly and fun, and it knew what it was. So with this film, it seems quite silly and fun at some points, but the things you're laughing at aren't the things that are meant to be silly and fun. And I can't imagine that he would pump this much money and time and effort into something to just be intentionally bad, but I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. The storyline didn't make sense, was boring. The dialogue was horrendous. You could really see the actors struggling through like the lines. But it was shot really nicely for like what it was. I don't think it really matched what the feel of the film should have been. It didn't feel very authentic, but I mean, it's still, you could tell that there was a budget in this film. It's got a good budget, which is very surprising. Not a great budget, but it's got an okay budget compared to the poster. But my favorite thing about this film is the demons themselves. You see them, they materialize, and they are sick. They look amazing. They're like Pinhead level, like they actually are. Like, they like Hellraiser, something you would have seen in Hellraiser, like the original Hellraiser. Doesn't work so well in 2021, especially with the way they shot it, because in Hellraiser, I don't know if it's like the quality adds to it, but then like the smoke and the atmosphere and like the actual storyline is pretty good and pretty like full of dread and grit, and this one wasn't so much all of that, but it did have these demons, and then unfortunately it just like cheapened it because they have these amazing, like, just the way they put them together was so awesome. Something that you would just die if you saw it at a convention or anything like that. But then there was like fake smoke, like, you know, CGI or just really copy and pasted like smoke on top, like literally a layer of smoke. They just dragged and dropped it on top of the layer. Like bugs and things like that, flies. You could see where they spent the money and where they like really cheapened out. And it was just confusing what it was trying to do, because it was trying to make you laugh at points. That's why they had like, unfortunately, like the gay character who was the comic relief, which, you know, I know how we all feel about the gay best friend trope, but it was just, yeah. The thing is, it's a fun movie to like laugh along and have, just like some of the lines were just ridiculous and so stupid. And like obviously I went with my friend Scott, me and Scott were laughing at those jokes, but then it just took forever for anything to happen. So it's hard, because I wouldn't say it's like a fun film to just like watch and, I don't know, have fun with and not take seriously, because you still want something to happen. And when everything's happening so slowly, I really felt like they were just biding their time so they could call this a feature-length film, because nothing really happens. Nothing happens. Scott got up and went to the toilet, and by the time he came back, literally nothing had happened. You could like totally zone out and just like watch the screen, and you would still get the general idea of the film, because the whole film is not really a storyline, it's just the gist of a storyline. You know, like getting the gist of a story. That's what this film is. It's the gist of something. It's not actual. This is one of those films that are really hard to rate. I don't think any of you guys are ever going to watch it, and I don't recommend it. I'd probably give it like a 3 out of 10 if I had to rate it. For personal score, I can't give it a scare score. Like, it's very obvious. It's not scary. I don't know. For scare score, I give it a 2, and for originality, I give it a 2. It was so bad, and I just wish it kept up like the pace of having really cheesy and really poorly delivered lines from the start. But when it gets into the whole exorcism and that goes on for like 40-50 minutes and nothing is happening, it just gets grueling, and you just like, you're shifting in your seat and you just know that you're not having a good time. Anyway, let me know what you thought of, I guess, this review. I don't know if you're ever going to see this film. I don't know if this film will be available, you know? I don't know what's happening. And their cinema was completely empty. There was probably like 10 people there, if that, and they were going to have a screening tomorrow night, and they cancelled it, so it's a good time for cinema. Anyway, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for coming along with me. I am so thankful that I get this outlet to be able to pour this out somewhere so I can go on with my life, knowing that I saw that film and that happened to me. I'll talk to you all very soon. Thank you so much for supporting me. Stay spooky and stay safe and stay away from this movie. Bye.